Taurus, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation from Born Without Boundaries. In these weekly videos, I review the major planetary aspects and transits and tell you how they impact your natal sun and what that means for your bottom line. To enjoy these videos and understand these videos, all you need to do is know your birth date. That's it. Everything else I will translate for you. We're going to start really broad with the big stuff like metaconscious energy that's traveling around all of us right now, and then I will focus that down into Taurus specific information, and then we'll break things down into the 3 decans of Taurus so I can tell you exactly how your natal sun is being impacted by the other planets. All right, let's start big. This is a weird week. It just is, because it's almost like it's kind of like the show after the storm, right? And like, what do we do with all this now? It has that feeling, even though I don't think the real impact has hit yet. You know, I just feel like there's been a consciousness and a realization that there is impact and there is major changes, but like, what are they? It's like not like we can really see them or that they brought to the surface yet. I know it has to do with the challenging, with technology that challenges our perspective of reality. And basically, and I've been saying this since last October when Uranus got really activated, there was this sense of something really surprising and shocking that before we thought was going to be impossible or that it was just made up, all of a sudden being proven to be real. And so more and more I see all these things about UFOs, or I see these, and I'm not even saying it's about that. I'm saying it's about something that has always felt like it was impossible, and it isn't. And that can be, I think it's going to be very good, because I feel like the whole purpose of discovering it is to change our perspective of how we feel about each other here on Earth. That's all really where it's accumulating. So get me back to this week. We have a full moon in Aquarius, which is all about the greater good and feeling whole and complete, because the community is whole and complete, and letting go and releasing whatever toxins are getting away in the way of that truth of everybody being able to be. And it's interesting how Aquarius works, because Aquarius energy is very much about the uniqueness of an individual, but it's all about how everybody in the community has the right to be a unique individual. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like all of us together being unique individuals, which is a really interesting play off of where the nodes are now, with partnership in Libra, that's the south node, versus the north, not really versus, but with the north node over in Aries, which is our singularity or individuality. So there is that sense of we're recalibrating those sensibilities. Aquarius full moon on August 1st is square to Jupiter. So that volumizes everything and makes everything almost put onto turbocharge, even when it's not ready for it. It's going to make it that much more emotional, and it's going to spread the emotions around. It's almost like a meta-conscious emotion or wave of emotion that is being released. Very interesting energy. We also have Mercury transiting from Leo into Virgo, which is its home domicile. That happens on, I believe, the 29th. That's a really good transit, because as this transit happens, Mars also moves out of the opposition to Saturn, which was really hard. Kind of agitated, depressing, frustrated, almost hopelessness kind of energy, because of feeling so restricted and restrained, and resentment that builds up from that. Then Mercury, as it moves into Virgo, goes opposite Saturn. But I'd rather have Mercury opposite Saturn than Mars opposite Saturn, because Mars opposite Saturn is really just heavy and challenging energy, where Mercury opposite Saturn is challenging and maybe being suppressed, maybe feeling like you can't speak the way that you want to, or there's all these laws, rules, restrictions, and regulations. But Mercury in Virgo is going to try to make sense out of that. It's going to almost kind of like, well, does it work? Does it function? It has a level of objectivity that Mars doesn't have that makes it not so explosive and easier to handle. Also, this week, Mercury is going to be conjuncting Venus between the 27th and the 29th. I think it's in perfect conjunction on the 27th, 28th. This is really a romantic energy because it gives us a fluency and a gracefulness to how we speak or present ourselves or communicate. So this is very loving energy, very, very, very romantic and beautiful energy of gracefulness with communication, spreading good feelings and romantic energy. But it's square to Uranus. This reminds me of A Midsummer Night's Dream by Shakespeare. It just reminds me of this mischievousness that happens to intentionally turn everything on its head and make everybody go with the different person or be curious about a different person in order to recalibrate and set things correct. And that's exactly what I'm feeling about this energy with Mercury and Venus conjunct square to Uranus. Now, all week long, Venus is square to Uranus, but especially when Venus is conjunct Mercury, we better watch out with how we talk online or who we're flirting with online, stepping outside of our relationships when we shouldn't be, right? But there's this curiosity and this desire for something outside of our norm. So even though it may not last long, it'll certainly turn things on their head for this whole week while it is happening. Venus is square to Uranus for not just this week, into next week. So this could be mischief that actually goes longer than normal. Because Venus will retrograde even farther back, and then when it starts going direct again, it'll be square to Uranus again, going direct. So all I'm saying is over the next, say, 40 days or so, this could really turn finances and romances on their head, and the unexpected will happen. So that could be good and that could be bad. Either way, I think it'll be great entertainment for the gods that are looking down on us. Let's just put it that way. We also have a fantastic connection between Mars and Jupiter this week. Mars is trine to Jupiter. The sun is square to Jupiter, and this is usually more difficult energy in that it's optimistic. You want to move forward, you want to expand, but you're kind of challenged by maybe you want to grow too fast before you're ready. But the fact that Mars is trine to Jupiter is saying, well, we just got to move. We just got to be optimistic enough to get the progress and push forward, because whatever progress we make, whatever actions we take, there's an optimism and a fortune behind it. So it's almost like a sense of dumb luck or blind luck or simply leaps of faith that I really like about this week. Another thing that I really love about this week is the sun finally comes out of its opposition to Pluto, which is just wonderful because it was giving everything this feeling of heaviness and pressure that just made everything like 10 times as intense. And so now that is dissipated and there's actually nothing in opposition to Pluto right now, is really, really helpful to us. Just an FYI. Let's move on, shall we? Let's go on to sorry about that. I felt like everything was falling down. Let's move on to Taurus specific energy. I look two places for this. One, I look what's going on in Taurus, and then I look what's happening with its ruling dignitary, Venus. So what's going on with Taurus? Big energy still here. So we have Jupiter at 13 degrees. It's not changing. And then we have Uranus at 22 degrees. It's not changing. Now, Jupiter usually does move forward. I'm wondering, it's slowing down a bit. Uranus is at 22 degrees. So Jupiter is going to be conjunct to the natal suns of the second decan Taurus. And Uranus is going to be conjunct to the natal suns of the third decan of Taurus. And we'll go into what that means, though it kind of means the same as it did last week, but there may be different aspects that are impacting it. We're going to talk about that. What's happening with Venus? Well, Venus is in Leo and it's in retrograde. And it's going to be retrograding from 28 degrees to 26 degrees Leo, All week long, it is square to Uranus, and between the 27th and the 29th, it is joined by Mercury in a pretty cozy conjunction. Venus conjunct Mercury is very romantically demonstrated energy. It's well-spoken, poetic, and absolutely lovely to be able to communicate this way, or maybe be very creative when it comes to your speech patterns, or written, or writing, anything like that. It's actually a wonderful time for it. And that square to Uranus just means there's frustration when it comes to the norm and the average. So you could be extra flirtatious this week, even without intention, when it comes to flirting with people outside of your relationships, or flirting in general, even though that's not normally you. You may even be attracted to people who are different than the people you are usually attracted to, and especially between the 27th and the 29th, you will definitely have the fluency of the tongue to charm them. Now, you could use this for things outside of romance too, because it will definitely help you in interviews or presentations or anywhere where your communication is important. This is really nice energy. Let's go into the decans. If you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Taurus, your natal sun is in the first decan of Taurus, and so you are Taurus 1. When it comes to birth dates, this correlates to basically April Tauruses. Anyone born between, say, April 22nd and say up to May 1st would be Taurus 1s. Your natal suns are sextile to Saturn, and that's a long-term sextile. And that means advancements when it comes to your career, breakthroughs when it comes to laws, rules, regulations, being able to use them to your advantage, or some sort of opportunities that are coming from them, and also being taken seriously as an authority figure yourself. This week, your natal suns are square to the actual sun. So that means there could be some contention when it comes to egos, or even your own ego. Could even be that your energy isn't as high as it usually is, or that somehow your confidence is challenged in a way, or just your sense of personal your self-esteem is challenged in a way. It doesn't mean it's defeated, but it does mean some things are happening that you kind of feel maybe a little bit more vulnerable than you usually do. From the 28th of this week on, your natal suns are going to be trine to Mercury. So whatever it is that's going on with your lack of confidence, I can tell you right now, this is a wonderful week, especially between the 27th to the 29th. But all week long is going to be really wonderful for you guys to present yourself, take tests, sign important paperwork, communicate, be exceptional communicators, especially when it comes to flirtation in your romantic relationships. Go ahead and communicate 28th and 29th. That's going to be beautiful for you. But this trine to Mercury all week long is really going to be helpful for you to communicate very well, and feel really good about the statements that you make, and have it be really solid. So it's a great week to sign important paperwork, or go in for an audition, or apply for that job. Any of those things, this is really good stuff. Or finding or discovering information, or learning something new is also great this week for you as well. Taurus 2s. If you know your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Taurus, you are Taurus 2s. This correlates to birthdays between May 2nd through, say, the 10th or 11th. That would be you guys. Your natal suns are conjunct to Jupiter. So this is going to kind of give you a big head. It's very optimistic, but it's almost like the sense of, imagine the type of person who takes one dance class and is already having dreams of being the next Mikhail Baryshnikov. It's that kind of energy. Like, it's almost fantastical optimism that can lead you to disappointment really quickly if you expect too much too soon. But if you just keep it at optimism, this can be very progressive energy, in that you stay the optimist and you don't let anything get you down. It's those unrealistic expectations that you want to stay away from. You're trying to Mars this week though, and that means, oh my gosh, take those actions. Go ahead, be active, take those chances, be physical. Chances as in not physical chances so much as make that that progress, put that foot out the door. Any kind of action you take, any kind of, I wouldn't say aggression, but I don't know what progress that you catalyze this week will actually be blessed in a way. So your energy levels might feel more awake, more alive. It's really good to be highly energetic this week, and even your sexual stamina will be up. So all good things, especially with that conjunction to Jupiter. Your natal suns are square to the full moon in Aquarius. This is going to be particularly emotional for you, or feelings of like, I haven't done well enough, or I haven't done enough, or maybe I haven't made enough of an impact, or I haven't felt important enough. Those kind of emotions can come up in order to be released and relinquished in order to make room. There could also be too many responsibilities that you have felt to your community, in which case you might have to thin out all of those ways that you have over challenged yourself, or if you have felt like you haven't done enough, it could be a way to step up as well. And then we have the sun square to the sun all week. So that, no, that's not true. It's Taurus ones that are square to the sun. Okay, so that's fine. Let's go on to Taurus 3s. Taurus 3s, if you know that your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Taurus, you are Taurus 3s. Your correlating birthdays would be between around May 11th through the 21st, May 12th through the 22nd, somewhere around there, depending on when Taurus begins and ends during that season. But it would definitely be you guys. Your natal suns are conjunct to Uranus, which gives an oddball essence to you, and that's going to be for a while. You guys would be the untraditional tourists. That's so cute. The untraditional Tauruses. You would be the ones that want to go outside of what you were expected to do and not do what is anticipated or expected, to really get in touch with the strange or obscure character traits of yourself, which can be quite a lot of fun. It's also very brilliant energy, being able to think of things or see things in ways that other people don't, so you can put them together in ways that other people can't. So it can be a time of wonderful brilliance for you as well. Now, they're also square to Venus this week, Venus in retrograde. So there could be some interests that are outside of your norm that you've always wanted to experiment with, especially romantically. Could mean outside of your relationship. I'm not encouraging this. These are just impulses that you will feel. I'm not saying you have to act on them. Though with Venus in retrograde, there could be something coming back that will challenge your comfort zone, and maybe intentionally. And then we have this long-term sextile to Neptune, which means you are way out there right now, and you're supposed to be. For the next couple of years, this is changing your game and changing how you perceive yourself or your place in this world. This is very creative energy, and so the creative flow and engaging your sun sextile Neptune in creative processes is extraordinarily important for you and could open up a lot of opportunities for you. So definitely pay attention to that and put your energy into more creative aspects of yourself, as well as more spiritual aspects of yourself and psychic energies inside yourself. This could open up pathways there as well. But ultimately, you could get real funky this week with that square to Venus. So either have a ton of fun with it, but don't take it seriously enough to think it's going to last. Certainly try not to let any of these impulses get away in the way of something that is good. But I think especially if you're single, this could be really fun and interesting this week. A lot of good stories to tell. Financially, it could also mean that there are like off the cusp or odd curveballs that are coming at you, for better or worse. So you guys let me know in the comments below. And Taurus, I hope that you'll like this video and subscribe to the channel so that you can help us grow over here on Astrology Motivation. Then come on over to Born Without Boundaries Tarot to enjoy your weekly message. I love you guys. Talk to you next week.